Hi there, welcome to my channel. I'm Kim at Stamp with Kimberly, and today I am going to be using Rolling Waves. This is a stamp set that I couldn't wait to get my hands on, and honestly I didn't get it right away, but I did get it, and then when I got it I was looking at what everybody else was making, and obviously it was the whole beach theme going on and the water, and it's just so great and I love it. The little umbrellas and stuff. Great for scrapbooking, great for card making, but I wanted to think outside the box. I wanted to do something different with this, and I did feature this in my Motivation Monday over on Facebook, and we made 3 different projects over there with it. I'm going to show you guys a couple different ones today that we made, and I do have another video that will be coming out that is totally outside the box, but I'm going to be using this today, and we're going to create something different other than the rolling waves. So if you haven't seen this yet, it has all of these elements that is supposed to be like the background of your water. You have some sand splatters here, some seashells. It's got some awesome sentiments in it, and it's just got a little bit of everything. But then when you look at the dies, it has all of the water layers. It has both of these pieces, which creates umbrellas, but today I'm going to show you something a little bit different with these as well. So there's 2 different ones that you can use. We have an awesome leaf that you can use for anything tropical, ferns, anything like that. And then we have some seashells. You can also use these as stars. And then we have a few more dies here for seashells, but I really liked this one here. There's a little tiny one. Don't lose that guy. And then this one right here was my favorite because you get all of these seashells cut out in one swipe through your machine. So you can use this for designer paper. You can use this for cardstock. Let me show you a few things that I've cut out with them. If you can see all of these different seashells. So I've used designer paper, I've used white cardstock, and that way you can just use your blending brushes and color them. But there's all sorts of different colors and different kinds. So some of the paper that I used with that is Thoughtful Journey. And this is great paper because you can just like put a strip of this on your paper and you can get all sorts of different colors. Okay, so, and I think this is, this one is a retired designer paper, but we also have the Scenic Coast, and this is on Last Chance List. So you could always use these for different seashells, the colors in them, or you could also use the Lights of Aurora. This would make some really pretty seashells as well. So lots of different options there that you can make seashells with. Let me pull in these little umbrellas here. So they don't cut in these colors, they cut like this in a solid color, and then all you need to do is cut these apart and then layer them on top of another solid color, and you'll get the 2-tone there. And then the other one is like this, and then it cuts out all of these little pieces. So what you do is you just cut 2 different colors of these, and then you switch them up, and that way you have 2 for 1 there. So really, really cute elements in this set. Now, as far as the leaves, I cut out a whole bunch here. I got some granny apple and some old olive leaves. And then the water, this took me a minute to figure out how this is supposed to go. Obviously, this edge, they go together. And then, but I wasn't sure if it was supposed to be going out this way, like this one, or in this way. So I played around with it. I did look at what a few other people were doing, and I came up with this one here. But that's why I wanted to make something different with this set. I wanted to use it for something other than its original idea to use it as water. So let's get started, and I'm going to show you guys today what I came up with. So let me get my ink pads out here. We are going to be using Balmy Blue, Azure Afternoon, and Night of Navy. I'm also going to be bringing in some Granny Apple Green. So for my card base, I'm using Azure. And I have 3 different pieces of white cardstock here. This is 5 by 3 3/4. And I'm going to be using this as the top, but we're going to be cutting this one down. And then I have another piece that's 5 by 3 3/4. And then I have another piece that is for the inside that's 5 1/4 by 4. Okay, so let's start with this one here. We're gonna do a little bit of stamping on this one. And I'm gonna bring in some scrap paper here. And I'm using this stamp right here that is part of the water. So let me get these all open. And when I have a large stamp like this, I like to take my ink pad to my stamp. I just think it makes it easier to try to ink it up. So I'm going to start with this, and I'm going to line it up here at the top. And like I said, I am cutting off some of this around the edges, so it's not going to go all the way to the ends. And then I'm going to bring in my Azure. We're going to do the same thing. I'm going to get it pretty close to the other one, but it doesn't have to be exact. And then I'm going to bring in Night of Navy. Okay, and then we're going to repeat the process. So I'm going to do the Balmy Blue again. If you're anything like me, like thinking outside the box, I always like when I can take a stamp and use it for something other than what it's intended for. It just, you know, if you can get double use out of your supplies, that's even better than using them for what they're for the first time. I just think it's really, you get your money's worth that way. So I'm going to do a little bit of Night of Navy here again. And then it looks like I have room for one more. So I'm going to start back with the Balmy Blue. And let's put that one there. Okay, so let me, actually, I'm gonna leave these open for just one more minute. I'm gonna move this out of the way. Doesn't this look really cute though? It's just look like a background pattern that you can, we're gonna do some more stuff to this, but I'm just gonna set this out of the way. But I wanted to show you guys one more thing. I don't know if it was just me or if I was just, you know, crazy that day. I asked on my Facebook Live if anybody else seen this. And do you guys see this? Like, it looks like little ghosts. And that's what I told him. I said it looks like little eyes and their mouths. And it just, I don't know. If you look at it this way, it looked like water. But if you look at it this way, I was seeing little ghosts. So let me show you what I made, because I told him I was going to take this piece that reminded me of little ghosts and I was going to create something with it. So I made this cute little Halloween card with the ghost, Boo, and then we have our cute little bats here for embellishments. But when you look at this set, you definitely see water, but you kind of have to think, you know, use your imagination. And to me, like I said, I seen ghosts. Let me know in the comments below if you see ghosts in here in this pattern, or if you think I'm just crazy. So I made this cute little Halloween card too. So that's kind of what we're going to do with this one, but I'm going to show you a few other things also. So this is the inside of my card. So what I want to do is I'm going to start with my Balmy Blue again, and we are going to decorate the inside a little bit too. Never forget the insides of your cards or your envelopes. add a little bit of color in here, and then I'm going to do Night of Navy. Okay, so let me get this put away and get these closed up. All right, and then I'm going to bring in my blue blender brush. And what I'm going to do is just kind of fill in this white space just to give it a little bit more color here. Just like that. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this. Remember, we're thinking outside the box. So don't look at this as water, just look at this as a really unusual, fun background. I'll do a little bit more over there. I'm still seeing ghosts, you guys. I just think that's hilarious. They just look like little ghosts to me. Look, 2 eyes and a mouth. 2 eyes and a mouth. Do you see it? Okay. All right. So we have this piece done and we have our inside done. So now what I want to do is I'm going to take my Azure 8.5 by 5.5. We scored it at 4 1/4. This is 5 by 3 3/4. We are going to put this right on the top here. My glue needs a little help here. So we have a nice thick border around the outside of this. Okay, just like that. Then I'm going to bring in this piece, and I do want to cut this piece down a little bit because it is the same size as this right now. So let me grab my cutter here. And we just want to cut this. It's going to be like 4 5/8. So let me see. Let me go this way. Let me cut it to there. And basically, I'm just going to cut off some of this white around the edges. And then I want to do by 3 3/8. So I don't have a lot of white space here. So let me just kind of even out the sides here. We'll go there. There we go. So now we can layer this up right here on the inside. So remember those cute little umbrellas that was in the set? We are going to use those today, but I'm going to use those as flowers. So let me put that here. And the paper that I'm using for those is going to be watercolor paper. That was a piece of paper that I had created a long time ago, and I had it sitting here on my desk. And the reason I ended up going with watercolor is because I started using regular cardstock, but my vision was to wet the flowers. And when you wet regular cardstock, it just kind of falls apart. But it really falls apart when it's created like this and it's barely being held together, okay? So this, it folds up nice and easy, but if you wet this, then it will fall apart, okay? So it's super easy to take your snips and just kind of cut around the edges here, and then that's how you're gonna get your two-tone colors. And it also reminded me, do you guys remember when you were in school and you used to make these little things like this and you played with your friends? Am I dating myself? That's what it reminded me of when I was messing with this. But I wanted to take it and I wanted to crumble it up and I wanted to make it look more like a flower. Okay, so I stuck with the watercolor paper that I had already created, and I went ahead and I cut out a few of these. Okay, and you could wet these, but they still wanted to fall apart on me. This one I ended up gluing back together. But I think these are going to make really pretty flowers instead of your umbrella. So we are going to take these. I'm actually going to bring back in my scrap paper here. And I have a couple leaves. So I'm going to grab my green blender brush here. And we're just going to add a little bit of color on these. Just like so. And then I want to take and put these on here. I'm not sure if I'm going to use 2, if I'm going to use 3. Let's see here. Might be able to get all 3 on. We might just do 2. Oh, I don't know. Let's see. We'll just go with it and see where it takes us. So let me grab some dimensionals. I only want to glue the center parts of these because I like the way that they kind of fold up and resemble flowers. I guess I better, well, I don't need to glue those down yet. I was going to glue my leaves, but I want to tuck these under, so we'll see. Let me fold this one up a little bit. I think that was the one I had to glue back together, that I played with too much and it fell apart on me. And then this one, maybe we'll go down here like that. And then I'll take these and we'll stick these in here just like that. Okay, and then what I think is going to make them look even more like a flower is putting a little gem on the center of those. So let me see. Let's go with the green because it matches the leaves here. So let's just pop a few of these on. That blue might have been pretty too. And then you can just kind of, you know, fluff these up a little bit. Because it is watercolor paper, if I wanted to wet them a little bit and crinkle them up, then that would work as well too. And then I have a little scrap piece of paper. So I want to stamp a saying on this. So let me grab, out of this set, let me grab this thank you. And I'll just stamp that there. That's bad. Let's try that again. Okay. And I'm just going to take and kind of cut this at an angle and cut this down some. Then I can take this and just stick it in here like that. And you have taken your waves and your umbrella and you've turned it into this really cute little card, thank you card, that is flowers with a fun background. So here was the one I made over on my Facebook channel. But what do you think? Do you like it? Is this another way to use your rolling waves stamp set? You would never know, I don't think. So if you did these in different colors, like I did with the Halloween one, I mean, it definitely doesn't look like waves there. But I think it's just a fun way to get more out of your stamps and use them in a different way and just have fun with them. So there you go. There is my project for today, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Let me know below if you're seeing those ghosts and if you would use this as a background stamp or not, just for a little bit of added interest, and if you like my flowers. So I love to hear what you guys say. If you'd like to see more inspiration by me, then hop on over to Create with Kim on Facebook, or you could join my public group at Stamp with Kimberly, and I always post different projects over there. So thanks so much for joining me today. Have a good one. Bye-bye.